Calling meeting to order. We have two resolutions coming out of executive session. The first, 2015 P-136, professional personnel. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Dr. Paul J. Catalino, Superintendent of Schools, that the board hereby appoints Wanda Lobianco to a 4-year probationary term as elementary school principal in the elementary school principal tenure area effective July 1, 2016, and terminating on June 30, 2020, at an annual salary of $112,000. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said principal must have had at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or 3012D of the Education Law during the probationary term, and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation, professional SBL certification. Will entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Next resolution, 2015 P-137, professional personnel. Be resolved upon the recommendation of Dr. Paul J. Catalino, Superintendent of Schools, that the board hereby appoints Deborah Fitzgerald to a 4-year probationary term as middle school principal in the middle school principal tenure area, effective July 1, 2016, and terminating on June 30th, 2020, at an annual salary of $115,000. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said principal must have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or 3012D of the Education Law during the probationary term, and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation, professional SBL certification. Entertain a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay.
Apparently, obviously, everyone knows and point out that Ms. Fitzgerald and Ms. Lobianco are here tonight, and I am very excited for these appointments. As everyone knows, we're having a lot of transition in the administrative in our administrative unit. We're losing some of our our veterans who are retiring and moving on, but we are filling those positions, and we're really excited and honored and glad that they chose to accept the positions that were offered, and we're excited to see what they can make happen. So again, both, and just for background, most people know, but Ms. Lobianco has been the vice principal at Bailey for the last 8 years, and Ms. Fitzgerald has had several positions with us. She's principal at Sophie Finn, and she's been at Kingston High School as the assistant principal in charge of the 9th grade academy for the last 3 years. So we're very pleased that they have decided they've shown their leadership where they are, and now they're moving on to take on their own building. So we're happy and glad to see them. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda, we have Kate Heidegger with District Happenings.
District Happenings. And before we start the video, I just want to show you guys this new poster that's going to be going up in all our schools, which will show the progress to our community on our building project, in case you're not driving down Broadway and can see it directly. So these just got finished up this week. So today's highlight is about the field trip that many of our schools take to the Kingston Point Beach. This is a program that's been going on since 2005, and over 2,000 Kingston students have participated.
To go fishing and learn about the Hudson River and The first thing we did when we got there is we learned about the Hudson River and the tides, and the students learned that the Hudson River is really special because it actually flows north and south depending on the tide. And then they learned about how we're going to go fishing, and they got to wear waders, which they were really excited to do. And there was a 30-foot net that we got to use that all the students lined up. And we walked into the water with our waders, and we're very excited for that. When people originally settled in this area, they picked living by the river for some certain reasons. What do you think those reasons could be? People might settle by rivers because they can get food like fish, crabs, and other types of animals. I learned about the history of the Kingston Point Beach. There was a class.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've reached the first opportunity for public comment, and I want to remind the public that you're limited to 2 minutes. Our board clerk, Mrs. DeParna, will let you know when you're approaching the 2 minutes. It's not a conversation. Please speak directly into the microphone because we are live streaming, and we're now in high def. So is there anyone who would like to address the board at this point? Please come forward.
Hello. Hi, my name is Regina Garcia Lacey. It's my first time here. I have a concern about the bathroom policy that was presented from the White House on this past Friday. And I want to know what my concern is for the Kingston City School District. What is going to happen? How you guys going to deal with it?
It's not a conversation, Thursday, I'm sorry. Our policy committee has been discussing this. We have a policy on the books about harassment and bullying and any kind of discrimination for religious affiliation, ethnicity, gender identification. So you can access any of the policies online. If you go to the website, KingstonCitySchools.org, left-hand column, there's a policy manual, and you can read the policies there.
Okay, so pretty much it's a go. Yes. What the Obama administration has said and put out there to the schools. It's going to be accepted within the Kingston City School District.
Yes.
The board meeting is a meeting of the board in public. It's not a back and forth conversation. But if you want to call my office in the morning, we can have a conversation, and or I could set up a meeting. You come see me, and we can talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay. Then we'll turn the floor over to the superintendent for the superintendent's report.
Just a few things on our superintendent's report. The first of which is there is actually a resolution on the superintendent's report, which doesn't usually happen, but it's there. And it is our the board's acceptance of the election and the budget vote results. I will have the clerk of the board read that resolution.
sorry.
I'm-
Can you read the whole thing, huh?
Whereas an annual school election and budget vote was held May 17th, 2016 for the election of 3 board members of the Board of Education of the City School District of the City of Kingston, New York. The vote on the 2016-17 school year budget and the vote on one proposition. And whereas the election inspectors in the 7 election districts have duly counted and canvassed the votes in their respective districts and have tallied and counted the votes cast for each candidate, the budget proposition and the proposition regarding the sale of the easement to the Thomas Allen Corporation, the election inspectors on the 17th day of May 2016 have duly delivered to the district clerk signed statements of the canvass of the votes in the 7 school election districts, setting forth among other things the total number of persons who voted as shown on the public counter of each voting machine and by the said inspector's records, and the number of blank votes cast and the total number of votes cast, and that the provisions of the law with respect to the use of voting machines were complied with, and whereas the statements of the results of said resolution and the vote upon the budget and the one additional proposition in the 7 school election districts have been duly returned to this Board of Education, and the returns as contained in said statements have been duly examined, tabulated, and canvassed, and the number of votes cast for each candidate, the budget proposition for the sale of the easement to the Thomas Allen Corporation, the 7 election districts have been duly determined as attached to these minutes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education declares the results of the canvass to be as follows. Kathleen Collins, 1,719 votes. James Michael, 1,230 votes. Reverend Costin, 1,006 votes. Suzanne Jordan, 1,854 votes. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education of the City School District of the City of Kingston, New York, declare elected for 3-year terms effective July 1, 2016 to June 30th, 2019. Suzanne Jordan with 1,854. Kathleen Collins with 1,719, and James Michael with 1,230. And be it further resolved that the district clerk shall record the results of said election as hereby announced and declared. And be it further resolved that immediately upon the close of the polls, the election inspectors proceeded to canvass the vote on the budget proposition and the proposition regarding the sale of the easement to the Thomas Allen Corporation and made the following determinations. Proposition 1 was the budget. Votes in favor of the proposition was 1,552, and votes against the proposition were 864. The Proposition 2 for the sale of the easement to the Thomas Allen Corporation, votes in favor of the proposition was 1,797, and votes against was 533. And be it further resolved that the district clerk shall record the results of this vote upon the Proposition 1, the budget proposition, and Proposition 2, the sale of easement to Thomas Allen Corporation, as hereby announced and declared.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No discussion, no, so go ahead. Motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Just one of the things I just wanted to add in my superintendent's report before we move over to KSQ and BBL. I know I've sent some of these things out, but I'm just giving some reminders, and I'll continue to remind. There are a lot of things going on in Kingston City School District this spring. This is the busy time, as you know. Just one quick reminder that tomorrow night is the Kingston High School Masters performance over at Point of Praise. That kind of kicks off everything that's going to go on for the rest of the spring. Just focusing on the high school, to give the board some ideas of what's going on. The junior-senior prom is Friday night at the Chateau. The athletic awards, it's June 2nd at Kingston High School Auditorium. Senior Awards Night is June 13th, also at Kingston High School Auditorium. The Baccalaureate is the 20th, and that's also at Point of Praise this year. Graduation, and graduation is Friday, the 24th, 5 p.m. So those are kind of the highlights of what's going on at Kingston High School. I'll continue to feed you the information that's going on from our other buildings. When we come back, I'll talk to you more about the things that go on in June in our elementary schools. But I will keep you posted as they go on. So I wanted to make sure I kept you in the loop on those things so you can set your calendars and get out to them. And the last thing on the superintendent's report is KSU BBL, and Scott, Mike, and Robin are here along with Tom Clapton to give us our update. Oh, and Alex, sorry, I didn't see him in.
Good evening. I just want to briefly mention a couple of things. The change management authorization update and information items should have been in your packet. I apologize if they were not in for the last board meeting, and if there's any questions on that, you can let me know. Secondly, I'd like to just do a quick update on our shadowing program. It's going very well. Our first student has completed their OSHA 10-hour course, so now he's allowed out on the job site and finding it much more interesting than just doing the work in the trailer. And what we've been doing is basically I put together, and my assistant project manager, Stefan, also, we put together an actual daily or weekly assignment that they have to perform for us. And we give them those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, of which they hand those in. We keep track of their time and their hours as they come over. And then on Wednesday afternoons, now that one has their 10-hour course, they just do a pure shadowing program with the superintendents. So they're out on site and just seeing the work as it's being performed. I'll turn it over to Mike.
So with some quick construction updates where we're at. This Friday, we will be accepting bids for the main mechanical abatement package. We had a pre-bid walkthrough on the 5th of May. We had a great turnout. We're having good coverage, good questions, so we expect a good turnout on Friday. With receipt of those bids, we'll go through the review, make sure the bonds are in order. The bid amounts reflect what we think the work to be. A lot of the post-bid information contractors are required to give to us. We'll review it with the team. We'll have recommendations in place for your June 1st board meeting to award. The Salzman fit-up package, we still have great turnout with the contractors, so actively looking at the drawings. Coverage is pretty good. Questions are coming in. The contractors are engaged, so that's a good sign from our perspective. They're looking at the job. We had a good turnout at the pre-bid meeting on April 21st, 40 to 50 contractors of all sorts of trades. That was great for everyone. The bids will be due to us on June 7th. We did an addendum which adjusted that bid date for Tuesday, June 7th.
One of the reasons why we addressed this as a team to make June 7th is we were requested to submit some additional information for the review process to finalize that, which we did, and we confirmed they have everything they need to close out the process. And based on our conversations as late as today, we anticipate getting that final closeout on by the end of this week. So we're moving forward.
So with that, we'll go through the process of obtaining bids, making sure the bid values align with the scope of work, contractors are in good standing. We'll have those recommendations to you for the June 15th board meeting. That still keeps us on track. We're finishing the project on time, the additions to 2017, and all the subsequent summer work that has to take place. We're still on track with those end milestones. Main mechanical heating package, that's still at state ed. We haven't heard anything back yet. We still anticipate an early summer period to have comments and then approval. That'll put us into a bid award process to follow. And once we have that definitive information from the state, then we can advise you on what we think will approach the board with that recommendation to award. And the second phase of the project, the main renovations, we're continuing to work with KSQ and the rest of the team of going through the drawings, aligning the dollars with the scope, and we're focusing right now on the bid packages out in front of us. But that is still being worked on in the background, along with constant design meetings, constant discussions amongst the team and contractors, et cetera. Things are going real well out there right now, and we're excited for the next steps of the project. With that, I think Robbie, you want to talk a little bit about some ongoing stuff?
Some quick updates on where we're at on the field house construction. The roof is on. As you look at it, when you're on site, all you'll see is the only thing that we're missing right now are windows. They're being fabricated right now. We expect them in about a week on from the outside. They're finishing up some of the exterior finishes, the nichiha and the brick on the east side of the building. They've also started to pour and construct the ADA access ramp off of the lobby of the field house that enters into the fitness center, and we'll be pouring the stairs to go into that. All the interior stairs are done. We're starting to sheet rock, starting to paint, we're starting to look at finishes. And they've also partitioned off an area in the existing gymnasium now so that they can do the openings that go between the addition and the existing gymnasium. So all of that work is currently underway. Elevator delivery is underway, or elevator is being delivered, and they're going to start putting that in over the course of the next couple of weeks as well. And then we expect the rubber matting, the flooring to be put in the fitness center starting on June 21st. So basically we're on track and on schedule for the work that's being done in the field house. So to give you an idea of where we are at, that's the partition wall that was put up in the gymnasium to separate where we're opening up through the wall into the fitness center to protect the students in the gymnasium and still make it usable. And this is where the stairwell will go in off of the lobby of the field house addition. The operable windows are being put in place, and you can see where the ramp, when we go down there on site, you can see they're starting to put the brick up on the ramp. It's going to look really, it's going to be quite a nice entrance into that area once it's all done. Early foundation, I feel like a broken record here, but it's going to take us a little bit of time to get this exterior stuff on the wall. There's a lot of exterior walls, so we're still framing. We're putting on the sheathing, we're putting on the vapor barrier, the dens, we're putting on the masonry. We just did a final mock-up on the yellow brick and the mortar that will go on the east addition. That is underway. Really the best way to see it when you're on campus is to look at the west side of the east addition, and that's what we're doing, is we're starting there and then we're going to travel around. The west addition, we have the concrete elevated beam pour, which basically, to put it simply, by next Tuesday, all the structural concrete on the west addition should be complete, and then we're going to start the first week in June to pour the elevated slab work, and we're still on target for June 6th for the structural steel to come in and get started. Again, west wing of the east addition, where you can see that we're starting to move along and get that enclosed. It's the stair tower over here. We had to put a firewall between the existing Salzman and the new addition. That is now complete. This is now the view off of the 4th floor looking over Andrews Street once you get up on the east addition. And we're a little bit further ahead than what this appears to show, but the west wing foundation work and the rebar is within the next 2 weeks should be complete. This is where the elevated slabs are, so we're just going to pour concrete. We can only pour half of the floor because we still have to put the utilities on the other slab. That will be a slab on grade, but we'll get all of this complete, and then again, June 6th, we're anticipating the start of the structural steel. It's going well. We've had a couple of tours. It's really exciting. We had a tour with Kirk and some of the teachers and the staff at the high school. And at this point, they're picking out classrooms that have the best view from their floor. So not sure how that's going to work out for everybody, but they were very excited about it.
Robin, speaking of tours, can I throw out some dates to the board members, maybe the second week of June, so we can take the board And that would be a later in the day, like a, you know,
We
after work
prefer-
kind of thing, so.
Sure, anytime. We really prefer, it's easier to do the tours after the
Right.
site is shut down and the workers are gone. They're gone about 3:30, 4 o'clock or so. Anytime after that.
I'll have Mr. Perna send out a few dates to the board, and maybe we can get two, just in case there's some people can make one, not the other, we can get them through. That'd be great.
That would be excellent.
Thank you.
Question?
This is really exciting.
It really is. Once you get up there, I mean, truly, and as you, the workers actually have the floor plans and everything laid out, so as the teachers and different tours are coming through, they're like, oh, okay, this is the classroom, and this is where, and I can see the mountains looking over here, and it'll be great. It'll be great.
Just an additional information about the project, this week we're finishing up, although it doesn't, the fitness center and parts of the gym will be ready, for the September of this year, so we did meet with our equipment vendors. Mr. Olson did beat them up pretty good, so we'll be making a choice of what vendor we'll be using when they come back after they recover from the, for pricing. But we should be making decisions on that and go into contract on that within the week. So the fitness center will be full of new equipment. That is the end of the superintendent's report. Get that in my head, right?
Brings us to the consent agenda. Are there any resolutions that we should
P-134. P-134.
Any others? Okay, no others. I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda minus P-134. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the consent agenda minus P-134, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? P-134, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All right, discussion.
I have a question. Are all of the appointees KTF members?
All of the appointees for the coaching positions?
Yes.
Are all appointed? No, I'm not KTF members.
And who is not?
I believe Quinton Johnson, I might miss some. I believe Quinton Johnson is not a KTF. I know Quinton Johnson is not a KTF member. Mr. Dixon, Willie Dixon, who's sitting right outside, he's not a KTF member, but a district employee. And Ryan Nacarado is also not a KTF member.
He's an alum.
I'm sorry, say again.
Henderson is an alum.
Oh, Henderson is not.
I'm sorry, who's not?
Henderson. So, yeah, it looks like our football, again, those positions are posted when there's no interest from the KTF. We are then able to go out and hire from outside.
Do these people have children on the teams?
I don't know.
Because I would like to say that in the past, we've had, I'll call them drop-in coaches who would come in and take positions, seemingly mainly to benefit their children. And when their children are finished, they're gone.
Well,
And I find that objectionable. And I'll bring this up every time there's an appointment list and make an inquiry about it. And I will not support those kinds of appointments in the future.
as the board knows, we appointed a new head football coach in the April meeting. These are the recommendations from our new head football coach. I think that he's went out and got the team that he thought was best for him to move forward. Again, I know a few of these gentlemen, I don't know all of them. I think that there's, between Mr. Maish and Coach Batalano, that Coach Batalano is looking to put together the team that he thinks is the coaching team that he thinks is going to give him an opportunity to rebuild our program and win. So I'm gonna give him the autonomy that he needs to see if he can be successful.
Okay, there are a couple of donations.
We haven't finished it.
Did we move that?
No, I didn't finish it. Any other discussion on that? Anything? All those in favor of P 134, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. We have a couple of donations. We have a volunteer.
Carol, I'll read them.
P 150, 151.
B-150, whereas King City School District is the recipient of a generous donation from E.C. Meyer PTA in the amount of $470. Thank you to the Meyer PTA. B-151, whereas the Crosby PTO would like to donate the following electronic equipment to Crosby: 4 Electro Voice loudspeaker, 1 Mackie mixer, 1 Sennheiser wireless mic system, 6 Sennheiser handheld mic, 4 speaker cable, 4 wall mount speaker bracket, and 1 QSC amp 900 watt for use in the auditorium. That sounds like an auditorium with nice sound now.
Thank you. Generous donation. Okay. We reached the section on Board of Education, and first committee report is Mrs. Collins, the policy committee.
What? This evening, we have a first reading of a policy. It's actually not a new policy. We obviously have a homework policy on the books. This is a very slight revision. It was first proposed, I believe, in 2012 before I was on the board. There was some discussion about it, but it's attached to the agenda. As I said, there are very slight changes. There are changes in number 2. These are brought to us with input from, obviously, the Teaching and Learning Committee. We had, at our meeting, Ms. Bonneville and Ms. Gibbons were both present. We had a discussion, and it really speaks to the rationale behind homework, instead of it being, dare I say, busy work. And the other change is on number 4, where it's just a suggestion, talking about research indicating the rule of thumb is to multiply the grade level of the student by 10 minutes to gauge the correct amount of homework time. So the policy, those are the 2 changes, and we have, as I said, this is a first reading before the board this evening. Second,
I have a question.
yes,
I want to offer an amendment to this. We've discussed that at the policy committee, that the last sentence would be changed to read where the / would be replaced with the word "and" as a conjunction. So that sentence would read, the district shall also make every effort to provide time and spaces during the school day where students can complete their homework and access homework help.
okay, we'll give that to Mr. Perna. That might have not been in the copy, I'm sure it wasn't that I gave her, so my apologies and I thank you. We are not slated to have our next meeting until the first Friday in June. Obviously, there's still some things out there that we're going to be updating, and just to say that we don't have currently a transgender policy, but as Mrs. Shearer had said when it came up in discussion, we're bound by the existing policies and by the suggested guidelines from the Department of Education, the Justice Department, the New York State Education Department, so that's how we operate until further discussion from our legal counsel.
Yes.
I just have a question on the homework policy, where it says, in that sentence, the district shall make every effort to provide time, space during the school day where students can complete their homework. Just put aside homework help for a second. What does that mean? I mean, the middle schools have a study hall. Is that what that refers to?
I think the discussion is the regulations when we write them, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
So it's really about access to the library, access to technology, after-school opportunities for help, as well as, study hall and those kind of things. So teacher availability during their prep time, or during their free periods and those kind of things. It was, that's kind of and I think we can really get into the granular piece of that in the regulations.
Any other questions? And moving along, we have the Deed Stadium Commission. Mr. Michael?
The Stadium Commission met last May 12th. We had the meeting at the pavilion of the stadium. But prior to that, we had the opportunity to place a memorial wreath at the memorial of Robert Deeds. The wreath was donated by a fellow Kickstonian, a good friend of the community, and a good friend of our district, Mr. Ron Woods. The mayor of City of Kingston attended, and several other members of the community. That was a very nice ceremony. Another thing I would like to mention that Mr. Clapper and his crew had installed half of the door so far.
We're down to one more door. We have
One more to go. That's a good thing to hear. That's all I wanted to report. Our next meeting will be tentatively June 18th.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Any questions? Okay. Yes.
And Mr. Michael, I did reach out to Mr. Maish. I was in attendance. I was just at 9 o'clock when the invitation said, not 10 o'clock where the ceremony was moved and they told going. Or at least not me. So I did attempt to be there. I was just an hour early and I was informed that it was moved to 10 o'clock. I was early.
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. Brings us to old business. Is there any trustee who wants to say something? Oh, okay. Can we do that on the board? Okay. Does any trustee have old business right now? This point? Yes.
It's kind of oldish, newish,
Okay.
but I missed an opportunity before when we were doing the, walking the resolution about the, budget vote, and I just wanted to say that I'm really pleased that our budget passed, and very excited about that, and I wanted to congratulate our board members who got elected to the board, and tell Reverend Costin that I will miss you very much. It's been a pleasure serving with you these years.
Same year. You will be, Reverend Costin has tentatively agreed to get involved in the committee with. That's great, so we'll continue to see you.
It's a policy, I see.
Last night.
Thank you. Anyone else? Right, I do, oh, Mr. Schmidt.
So what is the plan, what is the schedule for discussion of what we're going to do with Mahar and the pre-K program? Do you have any thoughts on when you're going to present that to business, move ahead on it?
Yes, we have I believe 4 more kindergarten registration dates. So we'll have people coming in, so we're hoping to get more data from the people coming in for those. I think we will have I would like to have a deeper discussion in the second meeting in June. June 1st meeting is filled with many things. The second meeting in June, I've also been in contact with the architects that we had, CSRs that we had hired, and asked them to start prepping to come back to us, to talk to us about what, we talked about their new vision of what they didn't present it to us. So to be ready to look at that as well. So I'm hoping now that budget is passed, we will kind of put our foot on the gas pedal of this and get this conversation moving and really put dollars and cents to a plan to Mahar as well.
Yeah, at the last meeting, we agreed that at kindergarten registration, we continue to delve into questions and have parents further elaborate on what they meant, and whether or not they would consider a hub if they didn't have neighborhood school classroom pre-K available.
So
In their own neighborhood school.
So the presentation by the architects will be June 20th?
15.
I would like them to do
June 15th.
June 15th, I would like them to come. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There you go.
Dr. Pellino, has there been any discussion about what if we decide not to go with pre-K hub? I mean, we've been paring down, there's three things in one building now. Has there been like a plan B discussion at all about?
We really haven't. I mean, we had plan A and B, now we're on B, we didn't have C, I think, yet. But I mean, I guess we're kind of deeply into B right now, and haven't developed the C, but that's something we'll be working on.
And even if we scrap B, which is pre-K hub, in theory, there's a significant amount of work that would need to be done to move just the administration alone, correct?
Absolutely. And it changes the entire, cost and the structure of funding for that as well. So it's something we would have to fall back, we'd have to attack in a different direction.
Yeah, I would like to say also, I mean, we have to start being very proactive about Mahar School. We took it off the market, and we're going through these studies. And I think it's about to start taking some really big decisions, what we're going to do with it. In our Early Finance Committee, the pre-K has been our agenda like every meeting, so I would like to see them move forward and not stalling again.
Well, we're not stalling.
Well,
Stalling
maybe I use the
close to
wrong
the correct
words,
word,
but
we don't want to put together a
I'd like to
program
see
that's
that
not
get moving,
well thought out.
Anybody else? Okay, I have some old business. We had a board retreat twice this year, and I have, there were a couple of initiatives started with the board this year, the annotated calendar, which is up online, the board visitation day, once a month to the schools, also several new opportunities for public conversation on Saturdays and also evenings and at church congregations, and I would just like some feedback from the board as we are planning next year's calendar. So I'll pass this out. You can leave it here with Camille. Please try to get there. Please put your name on it so I know who I'm running after to get answers. No, I'm running after to get answers. So pass them that way. 5 questions. Some of them are yes or no. Okay, any other old business? All right. And now on to new business. New business. Board member announcements. We had a coffee conversation. You want me to do it?
Yeah, well, there were 3 of us
Okay.
there, so myself was.
We were at Monkey Joe's on election day, and we
Not
had
Dominic.
2 visitors. And they were very curious about both Sione, what are we doing about Sione, and the universal pre-K, so it's going to keep coming back. Again.
And one of the women who attended is a neighbor of Sione's, and she is very concerned with the planners out front. And she has made requests, very specific details of how to handle that, including ripping everything out, putting down a weed block and mulch, and not having any remnants of plants or anything, lower maintenance and better for the block. So she would like us to help clean up her block. I said I wish I could ask my neighbors to make landscaping changes, but.
What is that again?
It's the planters out front,
The
they're
planters
not
out front.
attractive.
They have like, on top of the walls, there's, I think, just things randomly growing, weeds, maybe. Vegetation. That's not undesirable for our neighbors.
She could volunteer to do it without.
She has said that she would do it.
Would you be arrested for vandalism if you just ripped everything out of the house one day? I said, probably that.
It was actually worthwhile, I mean, I thought it was productive, and it was good to meet the neighbors, and it was cordial, and I thought that both women who were there, had some really valid questions and some good contributions.
They're both members of the junior league, so they were bringing a different community perspective, and it was nice, and didn't come with complaints, except for
The plan.
they came up with a conversation, which is very nice when it's not just
Conversation. And we will not have another until, maybe very late summer or early fall. And we are looking for, you'll see on the questionnaire that I just passed out, suggestions for other venues that, you know, they might be willing to host us, and then we'll reach out to them. Any other board announcements? Oh, Kathy, you want to check out this afternoon?
Oh, well, this afternoon, both Mrs. Shearer and I, there was, I forget the name of it was, a meeting, rather impromptu, called pretty quickly by Kristen Wilson, the new grants writer for the city of Kingston. And there's a grant opportunity that the city of Kingston has, Midtown Downtown Revitalization Initiative. They're calling it DRI, I believe is what their acronym is. And it was a large group of people, their constituents from all over the community, the arts community. We were there, I think all board members were invited, they just happened to be able to go. Yeah,
The churches, right?
exactly.
Health Alliance, it was,
But it was just really an initial planning meeting because this grant is due next Friday. It's a $10 million opportunity for revitalization of downtown areas. I believe they said we have a chance of 1 in 234, was that the number?
we're 1 in 235, we're in competition with 234 other communities, but they thought we had a pretty good chance, the city. Mayor Noble got up and gave a talk ahead of time, and downtown did have some rejuvenation, you know, in the last 20, 30 years. So they've settled on Midtown as an area that we, as a community, would be interested in developing. So it's exciting.
It was good. We did some mapping, we broke into small groups, so there was a lot of input from different areas. I think it's going to be a tough job to kind of coalesce
Well,
that.
they had done a lot of legwork already. The capital project, both for the Health Alliance and the high school, were already up there as, you know, a sign that the community was really committed to rejuvenation. Also, UPAC is currently in a fund campaign for opening UPAC for 12 months instead of just the 10 that is open right now. So, very interesting, very interesting. Affordable housing was another topic they were talking about, and small parks, you know, along the way, which was part of the Build Their Broad project as well. So, more to follow, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, whatever happened to the first plan? The bike ride and the sidewalk? Was still going? A year almost.
Okay. Anybody else have any minutes? That we've reached a second opportunity for public participation. I would like to approach the podium. I will need 2 minutes. It's not a conversation. Colonel will alert you when you're approaching those 2 minutes. Mrs. Bowers, good evening.
Good evening. Is this on? Yes.
Yes.
My name is Maureen Bowers. I just wanted to congratulate everybody on passing the budget and the proposition, and congratulate James Michael and Kevin Collins and Suzanne Jordan on their election. But to tell Arthur that I so enjoy serving with you on the board, the years that we served together, and I certainly, from this now citizen and community member, appreciate the service that you've given to our district and our community, and I applaud that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Well, we have a need for a second executive session, so we'll be not coming out of executive session with anything. It's an appeal that we're hearing, and we'll just be adjourning from there. So. Yeah. So we need a motion to return to executive session.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we will
Very good.
What if I did? Still, because I have nothing to do with that. Hey.